So, Tony, did you hear about the letter that was sent without a stamp?
I did not.
Nah, forget about it. You wouldn't get it. Sunday night means the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Fanboys Live and the Retro Review is here for another episode. So glad that you're joining us. I'm Ryan, Magic Lasso, and I'm joined by Signature King, Tony Fett.
Yes.
The Monarch of Remarks.
The Monarch of Remarks. I figure I got to start that lineage now. So
That's right. How are you doing this week?
Good. In the middle of a big winter weather event. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but I'm actually kind of hoping it gets bad. So I don't have to work tomorrow.
Gotcha.
The governor just says, to heck with it. Everybody just stay home.
Everyone stay home.
It won't happen, but I can still.
Yeah. We would say hello to Tim the Comic Collector and Comic Food 2814 if they both weren't in unexcused absences. When is their return? We don't know.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yep.
So. But they are unexcused because they're excused. One of them had an excused absence, but that expired at the end of 2022, and we haven't received a new note yet. So both are unexcused right now and facing demerits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, better come up.
Yep.
We at least need a doctor's note.
Yes, exactly. We are happy that you're here with us. If you're watching on the rewind, appreciate that as well. You spending some of your hard-earned time with us. We'll start looking at who's in the live chat with us right now, and as more folks join us, we'll of course acknowledge them as well. Hello to James. I did a live stream with him last week. A very impromptu live stream. I didn't know I was going to do it. Next thing you know, bing, bang, boom. I'm on with James.
Those are the best live streams, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are.
Throw the link out in the chat, and I'm just like, what the heck? I'll just jump in.
So James says hello from Detroit. Of course, this reminds me of something that I'll just tell a little bit behind the scenes. We almost did a Justice League Detroit last year in the Retro Review, and we had it scheduled. And what happened? Neil Adams passed away, and instead we scrapped it and did a tribute to Neil Adams, and we never got back to doing Justice League Detroit. But that is something I do want to do this year, is the Justice League Detroit Retro Review.
If there's ever a city in America that needs its own Justice League right now, it's Detroit.
Yep. Christy is here. We didn't see her last week, but we got her back this week, so that's good. Can't afford to lose anyone.
Yes.
So good to have you stopping by, too. The NX7062 is here. Of course, the NX7062 podcast can be seen on her channel, Stephanie's channel, every Monday night. I know, Tony, you popped into that, and I've been there as well.
Yep. Love jumping in that chat, talking Star Wars. One of my favorite.
Yeah, we see a lot of, actually, I'm surprised at how many of the comic community we see in there.
You didn't catch it. I said Star Wars, not Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Oh, the Force was with you.
Justice League Milwaukee.
Yes. Hello to John's Comics with Kids. Thanks for stopping in, too. And good evening to you as well. Justice League Milwaukee, that would be awesome. I'd be down there.
I kind of want to cast that, I want to see what heroes would be in Justice League Milwaukee.
I would be down there with my autograph book.
Yeah, right? Oh, man.
I'd be down there by the bronze fawns. And, yeah, it reminds me of, Marvel had Avengers Great Lakes, the Great Lake Avengers.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
Which was like D or E list heroes.
Didn't they do like I forget what Avengers run, but every cover was like a Justice League, or no, an Avenger of that state.
Oh, yeah, I think they could have, yeah.
They did. I think it was pretty cool. Excuse absence for this week. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Hello to Paul S.
What up, baby Kal-El? I'm Superman today.
Mm-hmm. Super Russ 9000. Good to see you here. I hope that you've been having a great weekend. And salute
Biggie
to the immortal Biggie Shack.
Biggie,
I miss your Friday night streams with 84 time. I really, really miss it. I know that's been more 84 than it's been you, the reason that you haven't done them, but man, I miss them. that was always something I always look forward to. Were the two of you, because you never knew what was going to happen. So, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you so much. Always giving me an at ease. I appreciate that. Got a little plug going on there, and that's 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. I love to see that come back.
Very cool.
Yeah. What DC Comics news do we have to talk about this week, Tony?
It's been a weird kind of week.
Are you saying there's no Ezra Miller news?
There is Flash news.
Okay.
Doesn't have anything to do with Ezra Miller. So the Flash is coming out very soon, right? So starting to launch all these toys. Is what they do before movies. They released the Dark Flash as the main villain. So Biggie, yeah. So now we have, it's not Black Flash, it's Dark Flash, and it's not even Reverse Flash. It's just evil Barry Allen. That's okay. Not really what I want. You know, I want like a Flash villain in there. I would love to see like an Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash. Then again, he's just a TV show, and people will probably be confused. Or Black Flash wouldn't necessarily fit in this scenario because there's no like dead speedsters, so to speak. So I guess their only other option is to make evil Barry Allen, which is whatever. It's okay, I guess. Like I said, not really my thing. What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Sometimes when there's too many speedsters, it all seems to run together, and then no one's unique anymore, you know?
Yeah. People were asking Jason Momoa his future in the DC universe. I guess it's still not clear, but he says he'll always be Aquaman, referring like deep down inside. But he may be playing other DC characters, so that's cool.
Well, one of the big news stories that I saw this week is, once again, this isn't confirmed or anything, and we don't know what character, but it sounds like James Gunn is going to get a lot of his Guardians of the Galaxy cast as DC characters, including Chris Pratt.
Yep. That was next on the list. Dave Bautista, a likely hire. That's according to James Gunn, and so is Chris Pratt. Both likely. I think
Chris Pratt would be a good fit for DC wise?
That's a really good question, because as much as I'd love to cast him, I really don't want to cast him in a similar Star-Lord-esque role. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe Plastic Man?
No, I did hear some people say that, but
maybe Plastic Man. But that's really kind of it, you know.
For some reason, though, I mean, I know that the CGI and computer technology has come a long ways, but when it comes to doing those stretching, it just still doesn't look good pretty much on anything, you know?
Paul says Booster Gold.
Booster Gold would be interesting.
That's a character I could see.
I could see that too. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, considering I've got a first appearance. You know?
I want to
give me a Booster Gold.
Let me make you big screen. Yeah.
Might be a good Jimmy Olsen. I don't think so. No thanks to Jimmy Olsen. That's a big actor for a small role if it's Jimmy Olsen. But yeah, Booster Gold, that makes sense, because he's kind of like, but then again, we go back to the original argument, you know, is it too similar of a role to Star-Lord?
Could be.
You know, got kind of like a cocky personality, you know, kind of a fun guy to hang around.
Just like the Jackson Roykirk who's joined us.
Just like Jackson Roykirk.
Meow.
But then again, they did have Blackguard. They had Blackguard in the Suicide Squad movie and died instantly. So, which is stupid, because he's completely bulletproof and a bad guy. And
I want to be in the Booster Gold movie, and there's one specific role I want.
What's that?
I want to be Skeets. I at least want to be the voice of Skeets.
Yes, that would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see a Booster Gold. I could totally see a Booster Gold. That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't know. We could speculate all day long, but
Don't
who
worry,
knows?
when it finally gets announced, there will be an article claiming Chris Pratt is playing this character. Then there will be an article claiming no, he isn't. Then there will be yes, he is, and no, he isn't, and yes, he is, and no, he isn't.
Yeah, there'll be
and yes, he
50
is.
articles going back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, Dave Bautista possibly coming over. I know we were discussing earlier. People were saying Mongol. Maybe I don't really think so. Maybe Mongol. Maybe Bane. He has expressed a lot of interest in playing Bane publicly, so maybe James Gunn will make that happen. What about you? Do you think that it's okay for James Gunn to bring over pretty much the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, he has a great working relationship with these people already. So that works in the favor of I mean, I guess
I agree.
Okay.
If you got a chemistry, it doesn't really make a difference. If you and these other actors could just fire on all cylinders right away and just hit this ground running and put out a really good film, I agree. It probably doesn't matter, but I don't. As long as they're not like clone copies, of themselves.
Yeah,
as long as
exactly.
Dave Bautista's not playing a Drax, you know what I mean? That's why I don't think I want to see him be Mongol. I think he fit more of like a Dave Bautista. Booster Gold toss up maybe for Chris Pratt. I think he would do a really good job. I think he would do a phenomenal job. But I just don't want to see that copy paste cast in the DC world.
He should have stayed with that X-Men movie because that movie would have been so much better if Cyclops, X-Men 3 would have been so much better if Cyclops would have had the role that he should have had in that story.
Wait. Oh yeah, Cyclops. Yeah. It took me.
How can you do a Dark Phoenix story with Cyclops pretty much not in it? Hello to Damien Sleepy Reader 666/Sad Vision.
/Sad Vision. Yeah. I know his brother Sean Gunn was already in the DC universe. He played Weasel and Calendar Man in the Suicide Squad movie.
Yep.
So we'll see. I know we had a huge speculation about where the DC universe was going, and now it's done a completely 180. Although James Gunn did say there are current casts in the DC universe now that are going to stay going forward. And I think the only one I could see that really for happening now is Zachary Levi's Shazam. That's the only one I could see continuity-wise moving over smoothly. Because no one's really met him yet. You know what I mean? You could say, yeah, Superman met him, but that was only for the neck down. That could be any Superman. So I guess we'll have to see what the second Shazam movie coming out this year is going to be.
Yeah.
If they're going to keep that Gal Gadot appearance or not. So
Hi, Kenneth Bird.
We'll see. Lots of what if going on right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want my facts.
What other news do you have for us?
Lois Lane is going to be a parasitic zombie creature. If that's cool. I forget.
Only if Shebab is on board with that.
Yeah. I forget. It's going to be April 23 for the main cover of Superman #3. Lois, I guess, is infected, and she infects Superman with some kind of... It doesn't give a whole lot of... and I understand why, but it doesn't give a whole lot of information. But I guess she is a parasitic person or a parasite. And Joshua Williamson is on the writer of that one. Expressed interest in playing Lex Luthor. Who's that? Michael Rosenbaum?
Michael Rosenbaum played Lex Luthor in the Smallville TV show.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. That'd be kind of neat.
He was a good Lex Luthor, and he was the voice of the Flash in Justice League, the animated Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, was he? Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
Mhm.
That'd be very cool.
He was a good Lex Luthor.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, like he's already been Lex Luthor in
Yeah, a
live
lot of
action.
times they don't.
They don't want.
You get, it's like Fancy. You get one chance. Don't let me down.
Hopefully, it's an Oscar-winning performance because you only get in one shot.
Hmm.
Unless you're Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it, really, for movie news. I know it's been kind of dry. Anything in the comic book world?
Did you go to your LCS this past week?
I did not.
Okay. If anyone, okay, here's a question for someone in the chat. If you can type really fast before we start moving on. Did anyone get Nightwing 100 and how was it? That's what I'd like to know. Of course, we did a Nightwing themed retro review last week with JP Budget Collecting. So,
I heard it was good.
yeah. That's how I roll.
I heard it was good. I haven't had a chance to thumb through it yet, but
There certainly were a lot of covers to choose from.
is there? Oh man,
There were.
Issue 100. I understand. That's okay. Have a couple of covers for it. Everything else, stop it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. I mean, I think every collector on planet Earth is saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like even here, I was looking at this evil Lois Lane that's appearing in issue 3 of this current Superman run, or that's about to happen. It's got 4 covers and a 1 in 100 foil variant.
Yeah.
For just issue 3.
Okay, Paul is saying it was good, so I'm not surprised. It has been consistently good since this team is Bruno and Tom Taylor have been writing it. So, and then Jackson Roykirk, I'm with you. I haven't bought one yet, but if I do, that's probably the cover that I'm going to get.
The Perez variant.
Yeah.
He's coming back to Baltimore, so I might have to pick that one up.
No, he isn't.
No?
Not
George Perez. Yeah. I'm thinking Jose Luis Castillo Lopez. Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I was right there like, no, he's not. So
it's been a long weekend for me, man. It's been a long week at work. So we'll see. Okay. But yeah, that's I'll have to check out that Nightwing 100. I know I subscribe to it anyway, so I'm due for 100. So I'm not just gonna come in at 100, which is nice.
Anything you guys in the chat want to chat about before we segue into the retro review? Now would be the time to throw that out there. Otherwise, we'll try to get to some stuff after the retro review. But I looked at DC this week. So they must have had a delay in the Batman One Bad Day books because they had one, I think this past week, and please correct me if I'm wrong, chat, okay? I believe that they had one this past week and they've got another one next week. And the one next week is Catwoman, which I believe was supposed to come out last month. So somehow that must have gotten delayed, and now they have 2 this month in back-to-back weeks.
Isn't the next one Bane?
I think Bane is the one that came out this week, but Catwoman was supposed to come out last month, and I think she's coming out this upcoming week.
Yeah, who knows? Might have hit a printing hiccup or
they must have
an artwork hiccup. I don't know.
I'll tell you,
good at announcing things like that, but doesn't say anything.
The Batman One Bad Day Riddler, which is the first one in that series that they did, that was the best comic book that I read last year, period.
It was good.
It was that good.
I even have a signed copy of it.
Nice. Yeah, John, I think you're going to enjoy it. The Riddler one is, like I said, is really good. The Two-Face one is a little predictable, but then the Penguin one is really good as well. Well,
they've been having all-stars working on these books in terms of writers and artists. So, and it shows. It shows.
I think it would be cool if they continued this series, but maybe next year do Superman, or later this year do Superman.
Yeah, One Bad Day Superman. Yeah.
Yeah, with his villains, and then after that do Wonder Woman, and then I think that would be pretty cool.
That's a good idea. It's a good selling point too. I heard the Bane one was great too. I believe it was.
Yeah,
it was. Man, I'm trying to even find some news articles here, but I got nothing that we didn't already talk about.
Okay. So, Tony, you picked the retro review tonight, and tell us why you made this choice for this book.
I really enjoy multiverse, the theory, and I enjoy exploring different Earths within the DC realm. I don't know why, but it's just something I've always liked. And probably because it's linked to Shazam and the Rock of Eternity and having the gateway
Mhm.
to all these realms. But it's just fun to kind of explore, like, what if kind of thing. And I think DC does a really good job of splitting their universe. I know Marvel's got, a ton of different universes, maybe too many, in fact, for my taste. But I like the DC's 52 different Earths, and they also have negative Earths too. So,
Mhm.
um, which is really cool. But for those of you who are unaware, this came out in like 2014 or 2013 is when they started. I don't recall, but they really took a look at these different Earths, and it was pretty fun to look at. Lots of cool stories come out of it.
Cool. Do you want to do yours first, or you want me to do mine first?
I can do mine first. Give me just a
Okay.
second here. Let me pull it up.
By the way, before I wrap up the news segment too, always check out Copy 801's channel. He does a weekly DC Comics news recap as well, and subscribe to his channel too. I know he would appreciate it
Yes, always.
when he's not at the Electric Band-Aid.
And he's not an electric band-aid. So this particular issue, Thunderworld Adventures, this happens on Earth 5. Um, and I'll explain some cool stuff once we get there. But it starts off at the Rock of Eternity, the real Rock of Eternity that's on every Earth. It's the same Rock of Eternity. Um, for those of you who are unaware of what the Rock of Eternity is, so if you're in Earth 20 and you go to the Rock of Eternity, you could easily go to like Earth 12 or 1 or 2, whatever. It's like a door that connects all these rooms essentially if you look at it like that. Same kind of thing. The wizard is there and he's doing wizard things, and he gets attacked by an even bigger rock of eternity that is made out of technology, and he has his own um, Shazamly, I should say, but instead of Shazam, they say Savannah, and they get these big superpowers. And I love his quote right here: "Marvelous." Get it? Because it's Captain Marvel. Yeah. But this Earth is kind of going crazy because you have dinosaurs and Indians and cars flying, and looks like the guy from Doom is there. Uh, Everything crazy's happening. Uh, Billy Batson finds another Billy who's holding just like a basket of gems, which is quite random. And then the bad Savannah team comes up, and they know who Billy is, and they are trying to deal with him. But he turns into Shazam, and he's like, "Okay, let's rock." But he, I thought this was a pretty funny scene. He does like this, like you were calling a dog, like a big whistle, uh, and it really ruptures the eardrums of the bad Shazamly. But it gets the attention of the other ones who quickly turn into Shazams and come to the aid. So here we have the current bad Dr. Savannah looking at, see if I can zoom in here, because each issue connects to another issue, because this issue right here that he's holding, I can't remember which one it is. It's either the previous one or the next one. I
It's
think
part
it's
of
the
that
next one.
multiversity line.
Yeah, multiversity line. Every villain is looking at like the next page, or this is even meta. So you have Dr. Savannah looking at the next issue, looking at inside that issue is the next guy looking at the next issue. So you can kind of get lost here, in terms of where the heck you are pretty fast. And they're having like a meeting of the evil Dr. Savannahs. One I got to point out that I really enjoyed was the luchador Dr. Savannah up here in the corner. I thought that was pretty funny. There's a snake Dr. Savannah, a vampire Dr. Savannah. You can kind of make out a female Dr. Savannah. Uh, Pretty cool. So he he imprisons the wizard, and he's got his like robot workers, and he decides to, torment him, and he realizes he's turning in the Rock of Eternity into Office Space. Evil bad guy Office Space with cubicles and fake cactuses and everything, which I thought was pretty cool. And he's actually making a lamification out of. You're right. Some of these issues get way worse than that. That was just nothing. But hey, you can see he's holding the Rock of Eternity hostage, and we cut back to the street where Shazam is fighting evil green Dr. Savannah ripoff, and they quickly deduce that these bad guys are really no match for the Shazam League. They're not as strong, they're not as fast. Their attacks are really uncoordinated, so they can play defense right away. Here we have one where Captain Marvel Jr. just knocks this guy literally to the moon. And I don't know what Mary and this young lady are having to talk about. Probably her costume. How are you even going to fight in that? You know what I mean? That'd be my guess. But
what Tony is saying is her cups runneth over.
Her cups runneth over. That's for sure. But it definitely does the trick to old Freddy here. If you catch my drift. But they quickly turn them back into their human self by deducing that they say Savannah. Here comes some evil Dr. Savannah creations here. But don't worry, the Lieutenant Marvels are here reporting for duty, which is pretty funny if you're a Shazam reader. So we have Tawny the Talking Tiger. We have Earth's Mightiest Uncle. Right here, and Uncle Marvel from way back in the day. I don't think he's seen too many appearances since then. So they're fighting these big robots and lizards and whatnot. And Shazam has an idea. He's going to take the subway. He's going to kind of go around. Here we have a glimpse of evil baby Dr. Savannah. Pretty funny. We have another look at some Dr. Savannahs here. We have what was that? Silence of the Lamb, Dr. Savannah. Very cool. He zips over. He knows how to get to the Rock of Eternity. He zips over through the subway, ends up in the Rock of Eternity, fights these big robots, gets to Dr. Savannah. Savannah turns into this, huge hulked out Dr. Savannah. Really goes to town on Billy. And then he, realizes where he's seen these crystals before. He tries to, smash the crystals, not too successful. But eventually he does get the best of Dr. Savannah, frees the wizard, and that brings the Earth back to normal. The Monster Society, yes, that's what they call it. The Monster Society of Evil from around the multiverse is finished. And they happen to have a preview comic of the next volume. And Shazam says, looks like tomorrow's a big adventure, which is pretty cool. Next, they have the big multiverse guidebook. If you guys ever see this, I've seen this out in the wild a whole bunch of times. Get this book because it has a breakdown of what each Earth is like, who's the heroes, who's the villains. And it comes with this really big map. I have the map. I just need to find like a frame for it. And that's one that I really want to put up on the wall. But that kind of is it for this particular issue.
Okay, awesome. So I want to say hello to Yeehaw, who joined the chat here. Michael, it's good to see you. And Michael and the rest of you longtime Fanboys Live and the Retro Review viewers, you're going to enjoy my retro review of this comic book because I'm going to bring back something that I haven't said. I said it a couple of times on the retro review last year, and I won't say people went crazy over it, but they certainly reacted when I said it. And I haven't said it in a while, but this retro review allows me to bring it back. So an oldie but a goodie is coming up during my retro review.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, Sleepy Reader Damien, he liked that guidebook.
Yeah, it is a nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they have the map inside the dust jacket of the hardback. Okay, I didn't know there was a hardback.
Yeah, cool.
That is really neat. I'll have to check it out.
So my retro review is on The Just, and these are essentially you see from the based on the cover, it's supposed to look like a magazine, and these are the sons and daughters, the next generation of the superheroes who really are more famous for being like social media stars because there isn't superheroing to do, which will answer why in the course of our review for this book. But that's the cover. So we get started in Malibu, California with a phone conversation that's going on. Sister Miracle is going to have this huge party that's going to be like the event, the social event of the year. And she's talking on the phone to Megamorpho. But in the same time, too, she's got a little bit of a problem. The atoms in her bloodstream right now, and she has some disgusting technovirus. So he's trying to rid her of this virus before her party starts. And apparently, if she thinks of something sad too, that also helps eliminate the virus that's within her. So Megamorpho says, well, how about this? We're all doomed and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Then Megamorpho says, has any superhero ever committed suicide before? And she's like, I don't think so. And then she's like, great, I'll be the first. And that's what she does. We see inside Sister Miracle, in her body, there's the atom there. And he's like, what's going on? Because all of these technomites just died. He's like, what's happening? Because she's thinking these sad thoughts because she was just talking to her best friend as her best friend killed herself by jumping off the roof in Metropolis. We cut down to Gotham City, where we have Alexis Luthor, who is Batman's girlfriend, and she's reading this comic book. Once again, this is another one of the same comic books from the same Multiversity line. And she's talking to Damian, who's Batman, about comic books. And she talks about how this comic book are beings from another universe that come to life once you read their story. And he's kind of like, I don't know about that. And he's like, don't you want to see what's really going on outside in the world? And she's not all that interested because the Superman robots are there to take care of everything. There's nothing for them to do. And he's like, well, the citizens of Gotham are walking around like in a trance. And she's kind of like, whatever. And he's like, nobody cares about anything anymore. So the Superman robots show up and start fighting them. While in the meantime, the two are talking about this comic book story. She throws a jab in there too about how artists don't get paid the amount of money that they should be paid. So a little nudge there, right there. And she keeps on and on about this comic book and how it's supposed to be a haunted comic book. And then he's like, when did hipsters get interested in superhero books? He's like, real life is much more interesting than any of that fictitious crap. She's like, says you. And they just talk a little bit more about the comic book. She says there's a curse on this comic book for anyone who reads it. She's like, you believe in curses, don't you? And he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. So, and he kind of pages through it just a little bit. And they talk about how their parents did their jobs too well because they left us a world without challenges. And Alexis says, no matter how hard they try to do the right thing, parents always screw up. And she's like, my dad told me that when I was 3 years old. Remember, her dad is Lex Luthor. And they start to make out a little bit. And that progresses to them hopping in bed. She mounts him and they begin to stir the spaghetti sauce. And while they're stirring the spaghetti sauce, they get interrupted. It's Superman. So he puts her in a lead-lined coat and tucks her in the closet because he doesn't want him to know that she's there. Superman, who is Chris Kent, shows up and he's like, what's up, Damian? Your heart's racing. And he's like, oh, I was just working out. And he's wondering if they're going to the big party tonight. And he wants to talk Superman out of going because Alexis is going to be there and he doesn't want it to be awkward with the two of them. So, and then Superman informs Batman, well, we do have a case to solve. Sapphire, who's Megamorpho, and she killed herself. She was a superhero. And we need to investigate what happened, what went wrong there. And as they're talking, Superman talks about his team up with the Sandman, and he's like Neil Gaiman's Sandman. And he talks about how it was a dream, and Batman's like, so your big adventure was actually a dream? He's ribbing him a little bit too. And Superman's like, do you know that there's a female in your closet in a lead-lined cloak? And he's like, it's Alexis, isn't it? And, you know, he's trying to downplay it and not start any big fights. And then Chris Kent says, if it wasn't for her dad, I'd still have a dad. So big reveal there that Lex Luthor killed Clark Kent, Superman. So they decide, he sends Superman to go investigate this, see if he can find any clues, and then meet up later that afternoon to talk. So then, you know, Alexis Luthor, she's pretty peeved. And then she realizes that she's not going to the party because she was banned from the party. And she wants to know if anyone else has been banned from the party. She talks about how Chris hates her. And, you know, he's your best friend. The most beloved superhero hates me, which means that everybody hates me. And, you know, Batman puts her in a transporter tube, and he's kind of like, we'll work it out. So we cut back to Malibu. And here we have Sister Miracle, who's holding the party tonight. You know, she sheds a tear, which finally gets Adam out of her body. And he's kind of realizing what's going on. And then he realizes there's this big party, and he wants to know if he's invited to the party too. Cutting now over to Metropolis, we have Kyle Rayner, the last of the Green Lanterns. And he's looking through the comic book with a character that ends up being Offspring, who is Megamorpho's boyfriend. He's in total denial that Megamorpho has actually died, because there's been times in the past that they believe that she's died and she's always come back to life. So he's like, tomorrow morning she'll be here. And he's just in total denial. And Kyle Rayner looks through the comic book, thinks about the time that he found his girlfriend in a refrigerator, and that sparks some stuff in him. We now cut over to Green Arrow. This is Connor Hawke, and they're talking with Kyle Rayner, and they say, you know, we should stay in shape. We should do a recreation exercise of one of our greatest battles. Since there's no battles for us to fight currently, this is what we should do. Yeehaw, I just saw your comment, and that's why I'm smiling. I'll highlight it later. So here we are at this Metropolis art gallery, and Connell is there. He's a famous artist, and they're like, what's up with him? And Alexis actually says the truth. She's talking to Harlequin, not Harley Quinn, but Harlequin, like Dula Dent Harlequin. And she says, well, what's really up with him? He's like all the other clones. He's turning into Bizarro. And on the next page, we see a little bit of proof of that. He starts coughing, and his speech is a little bit broken. And they're talking about who's been invited to this big party tonight and who hasn't been invited. We cut over now to the Nevada desert, and it's the Red Amazo battle recreation, which is one of the Justice League's greatest battles they ever had. They do these battle recreations kind of like a Civil War reenactment, you know, just to stay fresh. And they're going through and reliving this battle, although there's a few extra things that some of them don't remember happening in the original. Like Green Arrow apparently wasn't there, but he's taking place in this reenactment. He's like, well, if I was here, I would have done this explosive arrow. And they're like, don't forget, one of our teammates, Red Tornado, is actually fused to Amazo. So you actually would be hurting one of our teammates. And he's like, I don't care. And it kind of sets Kyle off. And he loses it a little bit. He loses it on this android beast. And he's having a little bit of a therapy session with the rest of the League members in the same time. And he talks about how this was all kind of sparked and all his feelings restarted again after reading this comic book. So now, as we finish up with this portion of the story, they're talking a little bit about some of the other heroes. Like there's Argus right there. His power is that he can blend into the shadows. They talk about, should we reenact Aqua Crisis 2 next? And, Gara's there. He's like, Aqua Crisis, do you know how offensive that sounds? You guys tossing around the A word like it's nothing. So it's a little slam on Aquaman. Once again, we cut back to Megamorpho's boyfriend, and he's in total denial while Batman's trying to investigate him, find out if he knows anything about why she killed herself. Batman starts looking through this comic book. It's the same comic book that was actually published in this line, The Society of Superheroes. And he's like, he finds out that Megamorpho was reading this before she got on the phone to talk to Sister Miracle. And he thinks that there could be something up with that. So he takes a copy with him. In Metropolis, Menta is there, and that is Holly Dayton. So she would be like Mento's daughter. And she's getting a chance to talk to Superman, and she's using her powers to see if there are any traces of consciousness in Megamorpho's remains. And she says she got something else and said, the Green Lady, the Gentry, it peeked out, but I'm okay now that you're here. And as they take a look at her body and the autopsies being performed by Dr. Midnight and some of the other characters too, Batman arrives. He wants to share the facts of what he's found out, especially with this comic book. Now in Planet Krypton Restaurant, we have the current Green Arrow, Arrowette, Sissy King, Green Arrow's daughter, and she is telling her father that she needs some arrows because she's been invited to join a superhero league, and she can't do it if she doesn't have them. He doesn't want her to join, but she talks him into it, but he's not going to give her any of the exploding arrows. And he gives her 5 non-exploding arrows, and she gets a notification on her telephone, and we cut away from that portion. So here we have Superman and Batman, World's Finest, reunited. They're looking through this comic book, the same one that Megamorpho was reading before she died. And they're talking about how Alexis got into these comics recently. It's some type of hipster thing. But that's not the weird part. Look again. And he's talking about how there's more. He says the story's only part of it. And he wants them to read the publisher's indicia. And in the indicia, they find out that only one place is an actual city in their world. They talk about Quantum Comics published in Hub City, Spire Comics out of Cosmoville, Blue Stamp from Satellite City, Victory Comics in New Hooverville. He thinks that these are comic books from parallel worlds that are bleeding through into their world. And then he starts to get concerned because he knows his girlfriend, Alexis Luthor, was reading one of these comic books before. So we go back to the autopsy that's taking place. We have Gypsy there along with Dr. Midnight and some of the other custom characters. When Menta comes in and totally talks about how she hung out with Superman and Batman, and she thinks that she wet herself. So in Alexis's apartment now, they are talking about, well, they have the Superman robots with them now who are in bodyguard mode, so they can't leave them alone. And Superman's trying to say Alexis is poison. You know, we're supposed to be the world's greatest detective. And he's like, I'm the son of the world's greatest detective. And then he's like, so you admit that you resent my relationship with Lexi? And he's like, do you think this means the end of the world's finest? And then they're like, who else is off the guest list for this big party that's going on tonight that we talked about since the beginning of the issue? And one of the people off of the guest list is Jakeem Thunder. So this is a version of Johnny Thunder. And they're like, but it's just a party. And Superman's like, but it's the party of the century, Damien. It's much more than that. And as he's about to say something, he gets knocked out by one of the Superman robots. So Alexis Luthor is there, and she is teamed up with Jakeem JJ Thunder, who is Sasha's ex. They've been banned from this party. They've taken control of the Superman robot somehow. The party is going on now. It's in full swing, and it is the party of the century. And it's a huge hit. The heroes are partying nonstop. Everyone's having a good time. This is in Malibu. And here we go. All of a sudden, we see some more of the Superman robots, Superman's robot team being knocked out. She is social media tagging about what a great time that she's having. But in reality, what's happening is the Earth is about to be invaded by Bizarros. There's no Superman robots to stop them. And it's going to be up to who now to protect the world? These second generation superheroes who really don't have any training in the field? We don't know, because that's the end of the issue.
Very cool. Very cool.
And to jump back to Yeehaw's comment.
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about, but once we got to the part, I got it.
You remember when I talked about that last year?
I do remember.
Yes. So, Tony, what are you going to grade your book?
I like my book. 4 out of 5, easy.
4 out of 5? Okay.
4 out of 5. I like these different multiverses when they clash. So, very, very easy 4 out of 5 for me anyway.
I'm going to go 3 out of 5 just because it was there were so many new characters I didn't know, and trying to figure out who was what and who was tied to what, that it took some reading, and then I had to read a synopsis to make sure that I understood everything correctly. But I'm curious to see what happened. So do you know in the next issue or the next one that was released, does that answer this question, or are we just left like this?
From what I remember, I think you're just left hanging.
Oh, man. And did they ever publish an update or a sequel, or?
No. At least not that I know of. I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Hello to copy 801. Fresh from the electric Band-Aid. You missed it, copy. I brought back an oldie but a goodie during my retro review, a phrase that I haven't said in a while. By the way, if you guys, we're going to have a little bit of extra time left on the show. If you guys want to talk about anything off topic, or, I mean, DC Comics wise, but wasn't on the topic of this retro review, feel free to start throwing some comments in the chat, and we'll address that too. We'll get to your questions. It'll be like Carol Burnett, except no Tarzan calls. No, it wasn't that, copy. I hadn't thought about that in a while.
Well, I can find it. I had an autographed copy, but
oh, you did?
I don't recall what drawer it's in.
Who was it signed by?
Carl Story, who was holding, I forget what issue it is. I was going to get this one signed that I just read by Kali Hemner, but it was too expensive.
Hold that back up.
So that's the one I just read.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is the one that you just read.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But there's a lot of issues in the series. If you notice, they're all labeled as issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm pretty sure. This one. This is the one that, in your story. This is the one that they were reading.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. Another good one is the one from Earth 10. The Nazis take over the world one.
Yeah.
You have the guidebook, like I said, really awesome. Talks about all the different Earths. The one I just read. This is the director's cut of the Pax Americana, the one that was next after my book. Yours. Okay, so there's an issue 1 and an issue 2 of Multiversity.
And if I remember correctly, issue 1 was the first issue they released, but issue 10 was the last of the entire series.
Yeah, I have an issue signed. It's in the sign pile. I just don't know where in the sign pile. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or maybe those only 7. I don't know. This series came out a while ago. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, this is the good one to keep an eye out for is the guidebook and the Pax Americana one, because inside of this one, I'm not going to take it out, but there's a map in this one. It's a big map of the multiverse, and It's beautiful. It really is. So I want to keep that one nice and fresh. And when Michaels has another sale on poster frames, because I need a lot of poster frames. I'm gonna make sure to get that one framed up too.
Very cool.
Yeah, I didn't know they had a hardback. That is kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, cool.
I'm pretty sure in your story they leave you hanging.
Yeah, I think they do too. So we have a few moments before we start to wrap up to talk with the chat about whatever they want to talk about. Copy asking if anyone's read Lazarus Planet. I haven't. I have heard it was really good. One of my friends just today was messaging me and talking to me about it and how much they enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Lazarus Planet Shazam Wonder Woman crossover.
Me too.
That one's I'm really excited for that one.
Are you going to pick up some of the incentive covers?
Probably.
Yeah, me too.
Depending on which ones my LCS gets.
Yeah.
I probably won't go outside the LCS. Whatever they have is what I get. I won't go like eBay or anything.
Yeah. So Paul S. has got a good question. What is your number one book in your collection? It doesn't have to be a Grail book, but the one book that you'll never get rid of.
Oh man, you do not want to know how many answers I have to that question. I honestly, I don't think I could pick just one. I really don't. I couldn't pick one book.
I don't have it with me it's in another room, so I don't have it to pick up and hold up. Wonder Woman 245 was the very first Wonder Woman comic book that I ever got of her own solo title. I had her in Justice League and Super Friends before then, but 245, and I remember the feeling, the excitement of having a book that was just her in it. So it's not a keep by any means. It's not even that fantastic of a cover. She looks actually a little manly in the cover, but that's one I would never get rid of.
Boy, I don't know. There's a lot I wouldn't get rid of, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same with me.
Because there's just so much example, Predator. Like, I remember being a little kid and seeing the Predator movie when I was in 3rd grade. Incredibly inappropriate movie to watch for a 3rd grader, but it always stuck with me, and I've always loved Predator. I've always loved Alien. So now I got these. Are they worth a ton of cash? Absolutely not, and no way they will ever be. But it's just so cool, you know. I hope to, when my kids get older, you know, show them those movies and see what they think. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Pax Americana was his favorite issue.
That is a good issue.
Copy's got a review of Lazarus Planet on his channel, so make sure to do that. Do you have a preferred era of DC Comics? Bronze Age?
Silver Age for me.
Really? Some of those stories are very hard for me to read.
They are. And collect, by the way.
Yes.
But honestly, if I had to pick an age that I have to say is my favorite, I'd have to say Silver Age. But those issues, when I do come across them, they're either super beat up and not worth the price, or just incredibly expensive. But every once in a while, when I do get the funds, I like to buy one. But they're fun. Tony doesn't have time I don't got time. I'm way too busy, especially this week.
Well, that's cool. And Christy said imprinted.
Yes. I remember watching that movie with my dad, and he was just like, I don't know if you should be watching this. And like, that was it. That was the whole discussion. And then we watched the rest of the movie. It was on like TNT or something, or, you know, whatever. It's on cable.
Damien, I'm about to show for my book show some 80s DC.
Very cool.
Yeah, and Copy's favorite is 90s to 11.
90s to 21 is my favorite. Does Tony have any Star Trek comics? Actually, I do.
Is it the ones with Green Lantern?
Oh, those two. I have those two, but I have like Star Trek comics. They're right here.
You have the DC ones?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I just gotta remember what box they're in. Give me just a second. I think they're either in this one. I think it's this one.
I'd also love to know, and you can leave a comment,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
in the live chat here, or you can leave a comment in the comment section on the video here on the rewind. What characters would you like to see us feature on a retro review soon? I think there's some great DC characters that we haven't touched on yet. Off the top of my mind, in no particular order, just how they come out of my mouth, I think Metal Men would be good to do. I think Zatanna would be good. Maybe a little more Flash. We've done a little Flash in the past. Black Canary, Batgirl, maybe a Brave and the Bold would be a fun one to do sometime.
Yes, Brave and the Bold would be a fun one. So this whole box is filled with, this is nothing but Star Trek. I don't know jack about Star Trek. I know nothing. So I don't know if any of these are good, bad, worth anything. I mean, they're all bagged and boarded for the most part. There's some, like these have a DC logo on them. These also have a big DC logo. Is that good? I don't know. But I see some of them are from Malibu
We have some
Comics.
requests for you to show some covers.
Covers? Okay, hold on. So we have I got whatever this is. I got a number 1, Next Generation. Number 2. I think I have that whole run. I don't know. Because I see, okay, now I think I see the difference. So this one is, but that doesn't make any sense because this one is, oh, my mouse is in the way. Why do we do that? So this is like Star Trek Next Generation. Has a Malibu logo and a DC logo. But this one just has a Malibu logo and no DC logo. So I don't know. I don't know. Lots of Malibu. I see a lot of Barr on here as a writer. Mike Barr. I don't know if he was popular or not in the Star Trek run, but this whole thing, man, like I said, this is nothing, probably close to 100 issues of Star Trek. I don't know if it's any good. I'll have to maybe get some of you Star Trek nerds up here. Tell me if any of these are any good. I don't know. Some of these look fun. I actually got this box for free, this whole box. I bought a few books off of a local guy here, and he gave me this entire box and another box full of just Star Trek stuff. But I don't know. So I couldn't tell you if these are worth anything or not. Maybe he knows, and that's why he gave them to me, because they weren't worth anything. Some of the covers on here look kind of silly, but whatever. I couldn't tell you any of these characters, so Magic Lasso gave me only Star Trek comic. Well, maybe if you're nice, I'll A-OK you this whole box. Because I don't know nothing about Star Trek. Scotty's True Love. I know who he is. That's truckload of Star Trek comics. Don't know what I'm gonna do with these. Hold them, give them away. Give them to some kids. I don't know. I've got a ton of Star Trek that I literally have no no room for my collection. Like they just sit in this box eternally forever, and I don't know what to do with them. So the answer to your question is yes, I do. I do have Star Trek comics. So there's that.
And when I was talking suggestions for the show as well, Damien
Nice.
jumped in that DC Comics Presents. That would be another good one to do on the show as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 issues. Holy cow! I didn't know they went that far. But yeah, I've got just like a lot of random stuff that people have just given to me, and I don't know what to do with it.
I have 2 Star Trek comic books in my collection, according to my CLZ. I have issue number 1 from 1980 from Marvel, and then I have when DC got the rights, I have issue number 2 from 1984. I don't know why I don't have issue number 1, but I have issue number 2 of the DC run. Anyway,
I'll have to check out CLZ and the Key Collector app to see if any of these are worth anything or special kind of first appearances or.
Copy's saying the Star Trek comics that are really worth anything are Volume 1 from Gold Key,
specifically
yeah, 1 through 10. Sure. So,
yeah, anything Gold Key is going to be worth more money than anything else.
Yep.
Of course, but I like some of the artwork on here. Some of it's good. Some of them are pretty terrible.
Here's Copy giving you a boost about the value of your collection.
Yes. Yeah. So if the power goes out here and I need some extra firewood for my fireplace.
Ooh, you're gonna send NX7062 off per rocker.
Maybe I'll get resuspended. I don't know, but I mean, like, like they're cool. Like someone's got to enjoy these. So there's got to be somebody out there who's missing these issues that. Just Copy just saying that to get some AOK. Probably.
Could be. So as we start to wrap up this week's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, we're going to do our book show and talk about our channels. Do you want to go first, Tony?
You go first. Let me grab a book.
Okay, I will do that. So on my channel, it's been about a month since I did a regular recorded video on my channel outside of my YouTube shorts. And the wait is over with. Another Comic Book Editions video will drop Tuesday afternoon on my channel. Tomorrow, there will be another back issue of the week short on my channel too. So you can look forward to those two things coming up on my channel. And for a book show, what I picked is a book from the 1980s. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I or Tony Retro reviewed tonight. I just picked it and thought, this is a cool cover. This is a cool book. I just am in the mood to show it and talk about it. So this is volume 2, issue number 1 of Hawkman, which came out in the mid 80s too. The Shadow War continues, and that's a pretty awesome cover, I think. The series didn't last all that long. I have the majority of the issues, but not all of them. And I'm going to maybe work on completing this run because the issues that I'm missing nothing is really expensive from this run of Hawkman. So for the funsies of it, I decided to show this as my book show tonight as part of the Retro Review.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
How about you? You ready now?
Yeah. On my channel, I put up some shorts. Boy, and shorts are weird, and YouTube is weird. I had the first one I uploaded yesterday, got 1,500 views in less than an hour, and then stopped, which is okay because it's still a lot of views for me. Today I uploaded one, and I think it's sitting at 3 views, and it's been up all day. So it's, who knows? But for my book show, a couple of recent pickups here. We have something I've been chasing a long time. Adam, number 19. Yes, number 19.
I love
second
that.
Satan appearance. First, is it first Satanic cover? Because it's your head's on the cover. I don't know if that counts, but anyway, second appearance of Zatanna, so that's cool. And also, I picked up Green Lantern 48, first Kyle Rayner.
Nice.
I picked up a couple of these. So I'm going to do something cool with these. Very cool. So stand by.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Thank you all for joining us in the live chat. If you watched on the rewind, we hope you enjoyed the show as well and appreciate you making it to the end. Please sub up Signature King Tony. The link to his YouTube channel is in the description for this video, as well as the links for the missing fanboys, the ones that you'll soon see on the sides of milk cartons. You can still subscribe to their channels too. And you can drop them a comment and say, how come you can work on your own channel but not be on Fanboys?
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Until we get the chance to visit next week, I hope you have a happy, successful, and healthy week. Until then, take care. Bye.